Art and surviving it. I was recording some videos and now I'm just chilling. So I'm just actually gonna take these off. And it came it's been coming up to me actually because that um the person who drove me into being able to break my own heart recently surfaced in my life. Not physically, but they wrote me a letter, and I don't know. These just feelings have been coming up, so I journaled about it, and I was like, let me just share in case there's somebody else who's struggling with this or going through this or has gone through this that can relate and might need to hear something that I have to share. So that is the preface for this session. And so welcome to Mindset Mondays. And this is really about, I mean, when when it comes down to it, everything really is about learning to love yourself better, learning to connect with yourself on deeper levels. That's what we're really here to do. We get caught up in attaching ourselves to situations, to people, to places, and that's where we go wrong. And that's where we get caught in this cycle and this little spiral and seemingly staying in the same place, but we're moving around in the circle instead of spiraling upwards. So I'm going to share a bit from this entry in my journal and like ad lib through it or add things to it that I just want to say to you as well. So let me see. There are a couple of thoughts, random thoughts that I started out with, and I said, okay, here we go. When I had to shatter my heart, yes, my human was crying hysterically, but there was also a part of me that was enjoying the dramatics from a space of feeling alive and like being able to fully feel and actually sit here and sob and go through something, knowing that I love so deeply that I'm now able to love more deeply because of what the experience has taught me, because of all the lessons, being able to like dig deep and love somebody so much and grow in love with yourself as as much as you are loving that person, like you're learning to love yourself. And I'm talking about being in a relationship, but also like being self-aware, being aware of outsourcing all that you love and care about, outsourcing it to that person rather than allowing that person to be a mirror to help you love yourself better and relate to yourself better and connect to yourself better. So I was in the relationship with a very like conscious mind, and I was very aware for the most part, okay? I was very aware of what I was doing in the relationship. So for instance, if I was like triggered or if I felt jealousy or if I felt some type of way about something, I wouldn't immediately place it on him. I would take a moment and be like, okay, where is this feeling coming from? What is this bringing up in you? What do we need to sit with? So I'm talking about things like that, right? So we'll continue. The crying was cocooning because it felt like a total meltdown of everything. Felt like everything was dissolving. I was shedding, I was releasing it all. And it was really powerful to be able to be so present with it and to be present with different parts of myself through it. I'm like, okay, yeah, girl, you are feeling the pain, let it out. And then another part was like a lot of parts there. Another part was like feeding that and like, wow, I feel really stupid and naive and going through all of these emotions and these feelings of disappointment and anger and shame and blame and judgment and like, how could you stay so long and why didn't you listen to your intuition and why did you let these red flags just pass you by? So just allowing all of that to come up and being present with it. And then there was another part of me that was like, no matter what, I got you. You'll be okay. And it's okay to sit in this and feel it. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel hurt and to feel the anger and to feel the rage because growing up, my self talk wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like, it's okay to feel. It was like, don't feel that. You should be feeling this, or you need to be feeling this, or look around at how everybody else is feeling and match that. There was never like, okay, how are you really feeling? And honor that. So it was amazing to get to hear that part of myself come up and just comfort me throughout that experience. So be able to so present with it. The self-love, the relationship had grown within me. Yeah, this part. The self-love that the relationship had grown within me and helped me grow for myself, helped me hold myself through this pain, through this deep heartbreak, through this literal like I felt like my heart shattered. Like it just I sat with the pain and it feels like I just like hammered a nail into it and it shattered into pieces, my heart. So it didn't just like break, it shattered, which was really needed. And before that point, I was like, how can I get over this person? Like we were so intertwined that it felt like they became an addiction, like a habit. And I was like, I don't know how to let them go, how to release them. But every interaction that we keep having, I keep feeling worse because it's as I'm growing more aware of how I'm feeling and what's going on with me, I become more aware of how I'm self abandoning and how I am outsourcing rather than giving myself what I need. So I was like, how do I get rid of this? And what I heard was just to sit with the pain, like allow yourself to really, really deeply feel the pain. And as hard as it was very necessary. And like I said, I was able to hold myself through the pain, to sit, to breathe, to cry, to comfort myself afterwards too, because that is needed. So leading up to it, I made a comfortable space, had tissues ready, um, and I just was able to sit or lay down and like I was crying in all sorts of positions, like walking around and crying, like just going through all of these emotions that I thought that I had felt, but I was really suppressing because I was holding on to the potential of what this could be. So it was really, oh, this is a line that I wrote down. I was, when you're onto something and you're like, oh yes, this is it. I wrote, accepting the pain allowed, accepting the pain I allowed myself to experience increase the capacity for compassion. There you go. Accepting the pain that I allowed myself to experience, so I had to accept that pain, it helped increase and grow my ability to have compassion for myself. So in going through all of that self-talk, it's like, oh, I feel so naive. I feel so stupid. How could I let myself be disappointed? How could I not stop this from happening? And that part of me that was growing or had grown in compassion and was continuing to grow in compassion was like, girl, you needed to have this experience. Like don't be angry that you had it. Don't be angry at yourself for going through it. Be glad that you not be glad, but be grateful that you got to grow from this experience and that you got to learn and a part of you stayed in it because you hadn't learned yet. So, time is an illusion and stay in it as long as you need to so that you can recalibrate to be able to hold what you're supposed to actually learn. And that was really, really powerful. I love that line. I gotta share that everywhere, really. The moment was so painful that it felt like every heartbreak I had ever experienced, but never fully let myself feel, came forth to be felt. It was so intense, and that's why I say heart shattering, not heartbreaking. But it was such an intense experience that I allowed myself to sit through. And I'm like, I think about it now and I'm in such a different place because I allowed myself to do that. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that. When you do something really hard, and especially if you're able to be present with yourself in that moment, fully present with the moment, that you can relive it afterwards and be like, you know what? I knew that I needed that and I was there for myself when I was giving it to myself. And I'm really, really proud of myself for that. I didn't necessarily want that. all of that pain, but had opened myself up to feel, do whatever was needed to help me heal and move on. So before, when talked about prepping the space for myself, prepping a little comfortable space, before that, I said some affirmations and held myself and had a journal nearby. And I was like, whatever you need to feel, fully feel it. Let yourself fully feel to be able to let this go, to be able to move on from this, to be able to become who you are, who this was intentionally meant to help you begin becoming or become, right? Let yourself actually feel this and let yourself go through this however you need to. So that, like saying those words, just prepped and opened up the container for me to just like, "Wah," like let it all go, let it all be felt, let it all be held, let it all be seen and heard. Like I was like, somebody, part of me was also like listening out and waiting for somebody to come to the door and ask me if I was okay. Cause I was in it. I was in it. I'm glad I didn't get interrupted, but I was in it. There were moments I heard myself there were moments I heard my higher self speak to me like a loving mother, a loving sister, a loving friend, and that was what I was saying. It was like, it's okay to let yourself feel this. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel because most of us are raised not thinking that it's okay to cry, but our bodies actually physically, chemically need to cry to release certain things, and to create certain like chemical balances in our body. Like you need to cry. So I was just that voice was just there, reassuring me, affirming me, holding me, loving me, seeing me through the whole thing. And I'm so glad that I've had many moments before that. Like that's a practice to be able to go through something so deeply painful by yourself and sit with yourself through it, but hold yourself in this loving way. Like that's a practice. That's something that I had been practicing up to that point. And now that I'm talking about it, I feel like that's a moment that I was definitely training for, training in compassion for. Taking myself through all the ways I was hurt, wronged by this person showed me the ways that I had self abandoned in the name of potential. Ooh, bars. Who can relate to that? You self abandon in the name of potential. And this means, I don't love the term red flags, but it is what it is at this point. But this means going back and or even if you're in it, like seeing the red flag, but thinking that you can change it. A part of you can like love him through it. Um, thinking that thinking only about the potential. Maybe the relationship started out a great way and you're just thinking about the potential of what it could be. So you're stuck in like that potential portal. So you stick around and you keep ignoring as the flags keep coming up and red and orange and all of those. And this is disclaimer. This is not to say that all of it was this bad. Like I stayed in it for 2 years. It wasn't that bad for the entire 2 years. But there were like thinking about now, I know there were times when it just started to go down and deteriorate so rapidly within me that like all of me just felt uncomfortable being in this relationship and being around this person, and I could feel the resentment start to build up because I wasn't speaking up for myself. I wasn't changing anything. um I wasn't really addressing it. So it felt more and more disconnecting for me because I knew that I was self-abandoning, because a part of me was waiting for things to go back, and I'd get glimpses, go back to how it started, and I'd get glimpses of how it started and be like, okay, it might be coming back, and then it would just go away. So do not self abandon for potential. Trust what is showing up for you and let that guide you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's just sharing my experience about dating, getting over somebody, to put it in like the simplest terms, getting over somebody, getting through heartbreak. Because a lot of us, I feel like we let our hearts rip a little bit and then we pull back a little bit more and then we pull back until like it's just kind of has like all these scratches and shredded, and instead of just letting yourself sit with the emotions and letting yourself fully feel it so that it can transmute through you rather than continuing to get stuck in you and turning into something else and coming up at these random times. So it's just being able to sit with heartbreak. um Ethnic maturity, just curious question. So that is not what my topic is about right now. So I'm not going to get into that because I want to stay on track with my thoughts and what is coming up for me in this specific transmission. Transition. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to share about allowing your heart to shatter so that you can heal, because pain is our way to go through things. And this is really to talk about how to alchemize your emotions, how to alchemize your feelings rather than allowing them to rule your life. And the first step is just to be aware. You have to be aware of what is coming up for you, especially when you're in relationship with people. Be aware of what you're trying to put onto them and what you're trying to outsource, and why you're doing that and what is coming up for you and what your insecurities and your doubts and what you need to deal with within yourself is coming up. And the more that you learn to actually love yourself and not like just the surface level I love myself, I got my nails done and I heard it, but like deep self-love, and learning to sit with all of these parts that allow you to have these experiences and not be completely upset with them, but hear them out and understand why you need to have certain experiences. But the more you can expand in self-love for yourself, the more you can understand why you show up the way you do in relationships and why your relationships have gone certain ways. So let yourself feel so that you can alchemize these strong feelings, because in this life we get so attached, but we need to take a step back and learn and recognize that emotions and feelings are just, they are our guides. If you feel a certain type of way about, a group of people, that is your signal to not hang out with them, to not spend so much time with them. Right? So you need to listen to your intuition, listen to these feelings and things that come up for you from your gut. Okay, from your gut to your heart. Okay, so this is all about um, alchemizing. And I just actually I want to share this and then I'll close out. I actually just opened up a course. We start today, and it is all about alchemizing your emotions, alchemizing your pain, taking that, taking it in, allowing it to be there, and transforming it into something so potent and so powerful that it helps you transform your life so you can lead a life of peace and joy and flow. Okay. So I am, I did name it like movement and mindset reset because it is like moving your body and resetting your mind. But after a discussion with a friend, I've decided to call it beginner alchemy. So beginner alchemy started today. So it's closed right now, but I will keep you posted, and you can join my mailing list. And that is a way to stay in touch with me and just stay on top of all that I'm doing, all that I'm offering, and just be in my little community. I send love letters weekly. And yeah, so I hope this was good for somebody. I hope that this helped with something and supported you in some way, shape, or form. And thank you for sitting here with me for Mindset Mondays, and I will see you soon. Bye. I always forget how to end these things. Okay.